Hello and welcome to Buzz About Wireless, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. My name is Pete Akers, and I'm a member of the Sprint Analyst Relations team, and since I've done a couple podcasts in the past, the guys at Buzz About Wireless asked me to lend a hand with today's event. So I thought we would start by looking at some of the key devices in our holiday lineup, answer some specific questions that were pre-submitted through the Buzz About Wireless, and then just talk generally about where Sprint is headed in terms of our products and services. So, to speak to those topics, we'll be talking today with David Owens. Hello, David.
Hello, how are you?
Good. David, could you please tell the listeners, kind of what you do here at Sprint and exactly what role you had in launching our holiday lineup of handsets?
Sure. So my specific role is I'm Director of Commercialization, or Product Commercialization.
Okay.
Which means driving our products out into the marketplace.
Okay.
But for the last year, I was the Director of Product Management for our handsets.
Right.
So can speak very specifically to our handset lineup for '08.
Great. So, okay, speaking about that, what was the strategy and thinking behind the particular handsets that are now, the part of our key holiday lineup?
Sure. Well, first of all, you got to realize that when you look at the holiday lineup, you're talking about decisions we made approximately a year ago.
Right.
So lineup takes a long time to pull together. And at the time, we looked at a couple of really important market trends. One, the movement into touchscreen.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, when we look at the launch of the iPhone, we had things in place long before the iPhone, which speaks to the launch of our product called Touch.
Mm-hmm.
The Touch product was delivered by a manufacturer called HTC, great manufacturer that have delivered PDAs for us in the past, very good with the Windows platform.
Right.
And we launched that product in November, seeing great success so far. Whole thought process behind launching that was we wanted a 100% touchscreen device.
Right.
I think it's very important to play in that space.
Mm-hmm.
People will compare it to the iPhone, which I think is fair, but I would tell you our thought process was different in how we brought it to market because we wanted a product for people that were both focused on their business needs as well as their consumer needs. So the Touch really provides that. And I say that because it gives you access to your business email,
right.
Gives you access to your business calendar, is built in a Windows 6.0 environment. Now what's great about the product is HTC actually built a software layer above the 6.0 that I think gives it a more friendly user interface,
right.
More like the iPhone, so it speaks both to consumer and business, and you get some of the same capabilities. So when you see things like what we do with pictures and the ability to enhance them and to modify them, things like that, you get that, so people will compare it to the iPhone. But I think it really is for those people who are looking for both a business and consumer device.
Kind of a tweener device.
Tweener device, exactly. So that's that one. Now let's talk about PDAs.
Right.
A year ago we looked at the trend and we said, we're seeing a pretty good amount of customers move to PDAs, but it was still sub 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Today, and if you look at our numbers in the last month, PDAs represent 25% of our mix.
Wow.
And volume. So it's been the number one growth category. So when we looked at that, we said we obviously have to have a very strong PDA lineup for holiday.
Yeah, definitely.
And what was important about it were a couple of things: form factor, price, and then feature functionality. So we've had a long-standing partnership with Palm. Went to them over a year ago and said we would like to see an improvement in cost, an improvement in the size and form factor, and we want to maintain the great feature capabilities you have, but we want to add our multimedia services.
Right.
So we launched the Centro. Centro's $99 price point gives you many of the same features that you get in the 755. It adds our multimedia services and capabilities, and has a smaller form factor. And we're seeing great success. Our first couple of weeks of that device already put it as our highest selling PDA.
Wow.
And then the other piece that was important is with the launch of the Pearl, which we just launched last Sunday, so the 23rd, we know that RIM and BlackBerry have over 55% share of the PDA category, so important to have that product in the marketplace.
Sure.
The Pearl has been out there, but this is not just the Pearl and Sprint being late to the market. It's actually 3G Pearl.
Okay.
That includes, again, all of our multimedia services, and it runs on our DO network. So those we felt like PDA, we felt like Touch, and then the last one was an area that we thought was critical, and we're really seeing it play out that way, and that is a tremendous need for a low-cost messaging-centric device.
Right.
So you've had the T-Mobile has done very well with its Sidekick offering, but it's stayed pretty much in the high-end space in terms of cost. We felt like that with our network, our capabilities, our pricing of unlimited text at $10, which is lower than any of our competitors, a great lower-cost text messaging device targeted really at teens and tweens would be a great product. We launched the Rumor from LG. They did a great job with a slider form factor full QWERTY keyboard, and so far it has just been a fantastic success. And we really think that the Touch, the Centro, the Pearl, and the Rumor will be is a fantastic lineup for holiday.
Yeah, it's definitely a wide variety of devices. Back on speaking about the Touch specifically, one of the pre-submitted questions on BuzzAbout Wireless was if we were going to have any other, quote, iPhone lookalikes besides the Touch, and you kind of evaluated the questions between them. So I guess that begs the question, and specifically getting more to the touch screen interfaces, what do you see in like Sprint devices and just generally in the marketplace? Where do you see that going? I mean, obviously it's an important key.
It is, and I think if you look at what iPhone did a couple of things. One is they proved that a touch screen can be a very usable device.
Right.
And the second thing they did that's most important is they developed a user interface that we think really exposed what a wireless device can do for you. And when I say that, I mean how it accesses the internet and some of the key services, just like checking your weather, things that were robust because they did a great job with the graphics.
Right.
You're going to see a lot more of that from us and competitors in 08. You absolutely will see more handsets from Sprint in 08 that are I think you have to don't think about it in the context of touch versus non-touch, because some of these devices will be touchscreen with a full QWERTY keyboard. Think about it in the context of a totally different user UI experience for a customer, and absolutely you'll see products from us and all the competitors in this space that will compete successfully with the iPhone in terms of that user interface.
Right. Good. Well, before we leave the subject completely of HTC devices, you mentioned they're a key partner of ours. There were multiple questions submitted about the Mogul, and there were some widespread software issues. So I guess could you provide us just an update on any corrective actions that Sprint's taking specifically with the HTC Mogul and kind of where folks can find some information on that?
Sure. First, all of the information we have posted on BuzzAbout Wireless, so that's a great place to find all of the details in a nutshell. But here's what essentially happened.
Okay.
We actually posted some software that was supposed to help and correct an issue, and in fact it caused performance issues with Bluetooth, navigation pad. That was out on HTC's site. We had about 4,000 people, something in that neighborhood, download that software, and it actually caused a bigger issue.
Right.
And it has to do with essentially the regression testing. It cleared the problem that we thought it would address, but the regression testing wasn't as robust as it needed to be.
Okay.
And so we caused issues with those customers. So there are a couple things customers can do. One is they can go back to the old software.
Okay.
And then we were targeting actually today for a new posting of ROM software that actually fixes the issues that people have so they can move to that new software.
Okay.
And then we're also on track, and important for people to hear, that we're on track to provide a new maintenance release that actually enhances the product with both GPS and also Rev-A.
Oh, great.
And that will be out probably in the early January timeframe.
Okay.
So what I would tell customers is we should clearly apologize. When we launch a maintenance release, that's supposed to solve issues, not create additional ones.
Sure.
We tried to be very upfront, frankly, about the communications, and we'll continue to use BuzzAbout Wireless as a core communications method as we go forward on when we have issues like this. But it was an unfortunate situation. We're correcting it as fast as we can, and we're also putting both more robust procedures both with us and HTC. So as we do maintenance releases and we have regression testing that is more robust,